Hi, welcome back to the Social Club. Standing in for Paul Machin today, of course, has had a beautiful baby girl, so congratulations to Paul. I know Paul will be watching, waiting to hear what the answer to this next question is going to be. The question is, what I'm going to ask all of these guys, well, maybe not, I'm not going to ask
maybe
you.
Not me.
Not ask you, because you're a Liverpool fan.
But I'll argue my point regardless.
You get to argue your point. Would you swap your manager for Jurgen Klopp, Baz?
Yes. You were going to come to me. I got me straight to Baz.
Let me ask Baz first. Would you swap your manager for Jurgen Klopp? Because we all saw at the weekend that amazing game with Liverpool. They came back, won 5-4. Jurgen Klopp's celebration, even against us when they got that last-minute goal. And there's a lot of fans out there. They love his passion. They love the passion of Jurgen Klopp. You know, he really gets into it. He's always on the touchline. And I can say there's a lot of Arsenal fans, for instance, who they really love Klopp. And a lot of other teams admire. They're like, you know what? I'd love to have Klopp manage my club. So what do you think for Everton?
I'm going to get mugged off no matter what I say here, aren't I? Because if I say, because my own, obviously Everton fan.
Be honest about it.
Yeah, but he wasn't Liverpool manager.
There's two parts to my answer, right? Firstly, I'd swap Chris over Everton's manager at the moment. So that's my first answer. So it's a bit of a bollocks question for me. You know what? No. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't buy into it. I find it cringy. I'll be honest.
You find it cringy?
Yeah, I think it's horrendous.
Yeah, passion, what a shit thing to have.
Because he's done, we've spoken about...
what it is?
Being a winner, winning trophies, what a shit thing to have. Yeah, you don't want that
we've
at
spoken
Everton.
about it on the show
Don't want that
before.
at Everton,
Hold on.
His record's worse than Brendan's, isn't it, I believe, at the moment?
At Liverpool?
Yeah. So someone said, right, okay, so he's never won a trophy at Liverpool, has he?
No, not yet.
All right, okay,
not yet,
so winds your neck in.
We're not far
And
away.
when he does that,
We're not far away, buddy.
Shut up, mate. Neither are we. And I'm talking about replacing our manager with you.
Yeah, but...
So it's winds your neck in. No, I personally, I think it's, for me, it just smacks of covering up a multitude of things because I've got the fans with me and look how, I think it's bollocks, me personally.
Is that why Martinez doesn't want the fans with him?
I'm not interested in my
James, is it cringy? I mean, there was that game that they had where he went over, it was at West Brom, and they drew, and he went over to the cop and he was clapping them and cheering, and everyone was like, oh, what are you doing?
I think with that one, he got caught up in the emotion of coming back in that game and missed out on the context and the fact that Twitter was just going to crucify him as soon as he did that because they drew with West Brom. But I'm as a QPR fan, that means I'm an Ian Holloway fan, which means I'm a Jurgen Klopp fan. He is the German Ian Holloway for me. He's got that he's got that passion. It's
German Ian Holloway.
He is. I like that he cares. I think if he keeps running down the touchline every single week, then it gets a little bit cringeworthy.
Why?
I don't know. I just think it's one for
some people
the
just
emotion
enjoy
is too
winning.
much,
I
so
like
I've
that.
got to go and do that. And he's clearly an emotional guy, but I think he's great for the Premier League. I think it's good to be. He's quite honest. I think he's quite relaxed as well, which is nice. I'm intrigued to see how well he does, and I hope he does do well. Would I swap him for Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank? Yeah, definitely. But that's an easy one.
I think there's aspects of them that are good, and before I'll obviously get destroyed by Liverpool fans for saying that, but I think, like James says, it's just that it's every week, and you're like, yeah. I mean, I can almost understand Saturday because it was a berserk game, and to concede in the 92nd minute and then to win it, that's fantastic. But he's done it for me. He's done it too many times.
In fairness, Baz, we've done that. A last minute against Arsenal, last minute against
so
West
every
Brom.
time.
But it is. You can understand it in the last minute of a game. The fact is, we're doing it in the last minute of loads of fucking games.
I believe that
actually, it's a good point. That's a really good point.
Is it the point that Baz made? Is he being really smart, though? It's almost like a bit of a cover-up because his record is no better than Brendan Rodgers. Some of the things he's done, bringing Corker on as a striker, and things like that. If Brendan Rodgers,
we'd have crucified him.
If Brendan Rodgers had done that, he'd have crucified him. He's getting away with murder then, isn't he?
Well,
you know what I mean,
it depends. It depends what you want to look at. If you're a Liverpool fan and you can buy into the fact that he's won stuff in the past and he's got to, like a player has to adapt to the Premier League, he's got to adapt to the Premier League. He's not played every team once yet.
And the squad's got to adapt to him as well, I guess.
Squad's got to adapt to him. He's trying to get a completely different way of playing going because, we like to play this sort of tick-attacker with a little bit of pressure on the Brendan Rodgers. That's changed quite a lot now, So from my perspective, I love him, man. I just think it's really refreshing to see someone honest in the Premier League. I think it's great that he's not asked what people think about him. He's not asked what people think on Twitter about him. He's not asked what the fucking press think about him. He's just being himself. And I'd rather a manager, and this goes for any manager in the Premier League, I'd rather them be themselves than try and be someone that they're not. You know what I mean? And that goes for everyone in all walks of life, because you're just going to do better if you're just yourself at something. Don't change who you are because of other people.
But he's representing a very big club now. You know, against Arsenal, for instance, Arsene Wenger said in his press conference that he actually had to say to him, you know, calm down a little bit.
He did.
You know, because he was getting a bit carried away. He sprinted down. I mean, it was a Premier League game.
Look, it is a Premier League game.
It wasn't the Champions League final. And that. So
I'm not bothered for that.
You got no problems with that whatsoever.
Hey, look, right, who was it you guys celebrated against when you won the league, when you won that game? Sorry, not the league.
Bournemouth. Away.
Was it Bournemouth?
We didn't win.
No, but you celebrated scoring in the last minute.
But that wasn't the manager,
and then
though, was it?
No, but what I'm trying to say is, I don't mind anybody celebrating anything. Like, that's celebrating should be something you can look down at someone and go, fuck that. Like,
but you guys, well, I say Paul was giving Basil and Everton fans a lot of grief.
I completely disagreed with Paul.
And there was a lot of Liverpool fans giving him a lot of grief. And that was the players celebrating.
That's the way it is, mate. You're always going to give each other grief, whether you agree with it or you disagree. At the time, I actually think Everton fans were right. They've gone a fucking long way. They've scored in the last minute. They deserve to fucking celebrate, man. That's fine.
Bournemouth should have been laughing because we don't hang on to wins anyway. But also, I'm not saying, like we were saying before, the honesty and that is, and I've laughed at some of his press conference, you know, when he's like fuming about getting beat at home by Palace, but he's kind of upsetting most teams now, and it's running and selling. I just think it's disrespectful. He's had the Norwich number 2 had a go with him at the weekend for doing it.
Yeah, I did see that.
A lot of people, West Brom, Pulis had a go with him. Pardew's had a go with him, Wenger's had a go with him, because they do see it as a mark. When you're there...
I get it. Like.
But Saturday, Saturday was one of... It was so emotional, a berserk game.
But like,
it's just, if he carries on doing it, you just think... He is... For me, I think he's being clever. It's because you look and go, how can I unite everybody by showing that I'm... And he is passionate because I've seen him at Dortmund, but I tell you what, he didn't run up and down the line every week at Dortmund when he scored. So... He's kind of buying himself that bit of time.
That's cool as well, though, because Mourinho's done it for Chelsea, and he's created this like siege mentality now. No, but he creates a siege mentality, whether it's in the press every game or it's on the touchline every game, because he would always do something in the press.
And I'm not saying he won't win Liverpool stuff, because he very may well do, because he's a very talented coach. A lot of people would have won, but I'd like to see him at some stage put a little bit of a lid on it.
Maybe if we start winning a few fucking games, you know, before the last minute,
if he might be chilled.
He might.
But that's it. I guess West Brom, that's last minute. Arsenal, that's last minute. Norwich, that's last minute. Has he done it any other time?
Since
like in the 30th minute?
Klopp's come in, not too sure. Don't think so. Since Klopp's come in, we've scored more late goals than any team in the Premier League.
Yeah, then it's forgivable. He's connecting with the fans. He's showing that he cares. I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you guys think? Does Jurgen Klopp need to chill it out a bit? Or do you love that, and would you love to see a manager like Jurgen Klopp at your club? Leave it in the comments below. Also, just got to remind you that some exciting news. Next week, Monday, we're going to be doing a deadline day live. Transfer deadline day. Transfer. That's why Paul does this. Yeah. We're going to be doing a transfer deadline day live, all right? And basically, you're going to have, like, you guys will be there, and, you know, representatives of a lot of the fan channels that you see on YouTube will be there alongside Ball Street. It's going to be here on the Ball Street channel, and we'll be talking transfers. We'll be talking about our teams.
Breaking news.
No yellow ties. It's
going to be a fucking extravaganza, and there'll be purple dildos galore.
You heard, right? So make sure you check that out. Have a look out on the channel, on the Ball Street channel, for all the links. And don't forget to subscribe to Ball Street. That is the way you'll find out about everything that's going on right here on this channel.